All right. Let's get the tweets out. Let's see. There it is. What up, everyone? You look so serious.
I know.
With your mustache.
I know, bro. People have said, they're like, bro, you got resting bitch face. I'm like, I don't got resting bitch face, bro.
Just like a tiny bit. All right, I went ahead and just threw up a retweet. My internet's like acting a little sus. I'm not trying to stay on that page for too long.
Oh God.
Oh God, I know. You might be all alone again. You might have to.
Oh, don't do that to me.
Rip it alone. I did reset like right before. Ooh, War Daddy looking like a snack. Yeah, Dalton, you've been hitting the gym. Look at that.
Yeah, baby. That's actually one of my best buddies. We played soccer together for a long time, so.
Oh my God, amazing. All right, you ready to dig into it?
I can't believe you said I had resting bitch face.
I just said you were so serious. You don't put words in my mouth.
All right, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Oh man. Dude, what a week. Like I'm feeling exhausted. So I was out in Joshua Tree like Friday through Monday, like midday. And during the weekend, like I straight up lost a week. Like Monday I had like tweeted like blast points multipliers goes live today. And everyone was like, Jen, are you like living in the future? Was this like a failed scheduled tweet? And I didn't see it until I got home. So I didn't see it until like 4 hours later. And I was like, it's April 1st. Like, wow, I can't believe it's April. Completely forgetting that would be absolutely awful considering we are going to New York and I would have not been ready for the New York trip at all.
Well, yeah, no, I feel like this week has just been, well, the past few weeks in general have been pretty, just a lot. Like there's so many moving parts between Blast, farming, base meme coins, Solana meme coins. I feel like we have just been going nonstop. I actually fly out tomorrow. So I'm taking Friday and Monday off, which is feeling very nice.
Do you know? Well, it's Easter, I guess.
Yeah, I didn't even realize.
Yeah, me neither.
I was just like, I knew we were going to NYC, so that was just like going back to I lived in New York for 7 years, so like that's like a homecoming in and of itself. But I'm gonna go home, see the family in Los Angeles before I head out, so that'll be good.
Yeah. If you guys are in New York, let us know. Maybe we'll see you at some events. But I'm not sure if you saw, we're actually going to be doing, the first round of IRL like video podcast in New York, which I am just like so stoked by. We're partnering with Schiller for that. So shout out to Fungi and team for like seeing the vision that Dalton and I had for this and just like coming together and helping us make it happen. So
no, I feel like, dude, have you been to NFT NYC before?
Just last year.
And how did you like it?
I mean, it was cool. I think it was fine. Like I don't think there was anything that like totally stood out to me, but I also brought my partner Hannah. So we had fun either way. You know what I mean?
Right. No, I feel like last year it was cool getting to meet people. We're obviously like peak bear market, like people were down and out. They're just like, dude, I don't think this is ever coming back. And the relationships that I got to make at NFT NYC were actually really cool. And I think that kind of shaped the past year. So that being said, I'm pretty excited to get back there and kind of see what's going on. So,
yeah. Well, and also I think this will be the longest sprint of time you and I get to spend together.
I know.
In our entire friendship.
We've seen each other. We got dinner one time. Is that it?
One time. That's
my God.
I don't know if you guys
talk to you all the time.
Yeah. So Dalton and I like video call pretty much, I don't know, every other day, I would say. And I'm so used to seeing Dalton from like here up. And we got dinner and I get there before him and my partner's there and he's bringing, his partner. And I'm like waiting, looking around, and I'm like, I know what he looks like. And then all of a sudden, I just see like this towering 7-foot man,
I'm
like
not 7
walking
foot, I'm
down
6'5".
okay, basically 7 feet. Actually, I'm sorry, a 10-foot giant, like walk over. And I had a moment of like just absolute shell shock because I'm like, it was weird. But
you know who also is pretty tall is Ben Roy. And the first time I saw him, I was like, also Greg from Collab Currency. Speaking of Collab Currency, that I was shook. It was like all three of us were like over 6'3". I was like,
oh my God.
And same thing. I'm like used to seeing everybody from here up. I was like, all right. That being
nice
said, actually, I don't like it. It makes me feel very inferior. That's besides the point. So, for those that are going to NFT NYC, are there any go-to events, must-go events that you're going to be paying attention to, dropping in on, anything like that?
So Magic Eden has a pretty big presence this year. I think they're like headline sponsoring like 7 different events. So I know there's like the Magic Eden Yacht Party. They're also doing the After Hours Party, and they're co-hosting the Pudgy Penguin Party Friday night. So I got you some tickets.
Oh, you did?
I did. I've been working on it. But then I think, you were talking about Collab Currency earlier. They have like a little cocktail mixer. Wasabi has a cocktail hour. Meta Street has a cocktail hour. So those are kind of like the main events that I'm looking at. What about you? Is there anything on your radar that you're excited about?
Yeah, I would say Collab Currency. Last year, that was a really fun one. Just getting to hang out with a bunch of founders and people that we get to chat with day in, day out that like you see posting on Twitter and stuff like that. So that was a really fun one for me last year. Also BRV, and BRV is Boardroom Ventures. They're like one of the advisor groups in the Twitter space, in the crypto space. I met them actually at Proof, and they were always one of my favorite teams. So they have an event. And then also, I'm going to be making an appearance at the Proof event.
Oh my God.
So I feel very excited about it, actually. I feel like the one thing that Proof did a really good job of was events. And that was just always a consistent. And Maggie is like the events woman over there, and she absolutely fucking crushes it. So there's going to be a Moonbirds event and a Proof event. So I'm probably going to drop both of those.
Both.
Bro, I just get to go see the homies, and I'm like, I kind of feel like it's like, I just get to like, I don't know. I feel like I've grown up a little bit since I left. So
hell yeah, dude.
Just get to go say hi to the homies.
You've been fucking crushing it.
So that'll be fun. So that's it.
Can you get me some tickets?
Of course. I'm going to have VIP tickets, bro. We'll be good.
Then I for sure want some tickets. Yeah,
cool.
Get me in there.
We'll do it.
Let's go.
Cool. Well, let's hop into market stuff.
The market. Let's do it.
Go ahead. Kick it off.
Well, I'm a Garden member. I don't know if you see. Oh God, this. Do you see it?
I do.
Hold on, I just have to show this. Yeah. So some pretty exciting news dropped from Azuki and Arbitrum. Yes. I have 13 brain cells, guys, so I might have some misinformation here. But basically, they're launching an L3 called Anime Chain, and Azuki's like the first official collaborator. And I think this is also, the token drop that everyone's been speculating about. The rollout was sick. In all honesty, like I don't know too much about L3s from like a non-technical perspective in terms of like why have a super app chain, but I'm starting to see more of that narrative pop up on the timeline. So I'm gonna try to do some deep research into that. But Azuki's coming back. It feels good to be in the Garden. Like I'm stoked.
I don't know how back. Oops. Wrong one. I don't know how back I would say they are.
Okay, well, maybe sentiment is coming back.
All I'm going to say is, so just to give people some background here, yesterday at like 7 a.m. Pacific time, they announced that Anime Coin is coming out, or Anime Chain. And this is like the long-awaited airdrop. This is something that like, this is what bolstered like the Pudgy Penguins as well as like token airdrop, token airdrop, token airdrop. And then they announce it, and Azuki was sitting at about 5 ETH. And they also had a run up from about 4 ETH or sub 4 ETH in the past week. And they get up to 5 ETH. The announcement comes out. They run instantly up to 6 ETH. And now they're back under sub 4.5. So I'm actually kind of interested to hear your opinion on what this means for Azuki. Is this a good buy right here? Like, I kind of feel like it must be, but like, do you know much about the tokenomics? Do you know much about the airdrop? Obviously, Azuki's a 10K collection. And then they also have Elementals, which is a 20K collection. It's similar to Bored Apes and Mutants, right?
Of the Elementals, I believe only 15,000 have been revealed, and the other 15,000 are still Elemental beans. I'll show you. Let me show something real quick. I'm gonna throw,
because you have Elementals, then you also have beans. So like, yes. Bro, like I can't imagine this being like a massive airdrop.
So basically, our understanding, like we don't really know much about tokenomics, and this is us speculating on a point system, but there is like a point system based off of what tokens you hold. And I think like one of the things that has always set Azuki aside is their collector profile. Like they've kind of gamified collecting, and you actually really feel that within the collection. So there are different badges that have different points that you can earn across all 3 collections. And so I think I would be shocked if I was wrong on this, but I think your collector profile will probably play a role in your allocation for the anime token. So most people that are in the garden that are already trying to get more exposure, the way that they're going about, whether it's purchasing an Azuki, an Elemental, or beans, is just like straight up looking at how many points they get per asset. And there's like some standard pricing for that. Like I have an Azuki that is like an Azuki that I've personally been wanting. I know who holds it. I've been watching it. And about 7 months ago, it was sold for 9 ETH. But now with this new point system, like it would be valued maybe around 10 to 12 based off of how many points that it gets. So like you can
can you kind of break this down here? So you have esteemed, grand, legend in the order, and like what all does this mean, and like how is that? So you're saying that basically the order is like the highest tier, right?
Yes.
So would that be like Spirit Azukis and shit like that?
That would be people who have like I forget the exact point breakdowns, but like typically they hold spirits or they hold incredibly rare Azukis. Like let me see if I can find it. Like you can go like right here. If you own one Azuki that has 1 gold trait, that's 1,000 points. There are some Azukis that have 2 gold traits, so that's 4,000 points. So like the way this is built is really, instead of just like I'm going to buy and hoard, it's really designed to actually have rare traits mean something.
Right.
And I love this model. I think it's really nice. Where is the...
Well, and I think that it also offers something to like mid rares and stuff like that. Like it actually does kind of contribute to people collecting things. My only question here is like, no, I'm like a total flipper, right? I'm like, so if I were to sell my Zuki and then buy another one that had different traits, does that mean that I would get both of, like, if I were to like literally just flip and flip and flip and flip and flip?
Nope.
Nope. You got to
based off of your holdings. Yeah.
Wow.
Gotta hold. And so check this out. So these are emblems based off of like one individual NFT, right? But then they have like multi-token emblems. So there's one called, is this the family? Let's see. Like if you have 12 beans, you get a hoarder emblem. There's one. Okay. So it's like own one Azuki of each animal trait. So if you hit all 3 traits, you get 500 for each set. And then you also get this emblem. So I think more collector mentality than flipper mentality with this.
Right. Yeah. So now with that being said, if somebody was to go in with say like 20, 25 ETH and sweep Azuki here, if they did it the right way, like they could jump higher up on the leaderboard just by their collecting like profile and like really think it out and be like, okay, I could get 4,000 points from doing these 4 Azukis or whatever.
Yeah. Like, I'm trying to remember if
This is the first time I've ever wanted to talk about Azuki, but I think I was just like, yeah, kind of pissed about missing them. I missed the boat completely. So
hold on, where the fuck? Oh, here's the gallery. So what you could do if you are interested in getting an Azuki is come to the gallery. You'll see all the different collections right there. And then you could obviously filter, but clicking on each one of these right here, there it is. You can see how many points that NFT would yield you. So it's like if you're actually trying to collect and get decent exposure, like this is probably your source of truth that you want to look at before you just like, buy something that's on the floor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go. That was the Azuki portion of our show. Thank you.
I got more. Okay. I mean, listen, I saw you put in this show notes if I think this is a good buy here and like having an unbiased take. Like the thing is, and I always say this, I am not a trader. I tend to buy NFTs that I am
not a trader from the person that trades more than anybody else I know.
Okay, because I'm not good at it. So I feel like until like my P&L is like 7 figures, like I can't really say I'm a trader.
Got it.
But like the way I look at it is I think of all of the teams, I feel like Azuki has moved slower in terms of like delivery and execution. But with that, every single time that they have dropped something, it's been pretty fucking cool. Right. And so I think if you're looking for like a quick exit within the year, Zuki's probably not for you. But if you actually have an interest in anime and you like want to see this IP be built out, I think it's going to take a lot longer for people to realize massive profits on Azuki's. And that's just me.
Right.
But yeah.
No, so I definitely think that they're probably a good buy. Them and Doodles are probably the two teams that were blue chip that I think still can reclaim that. Obviously, Pudgy Penguins are over 10 ETH. So like they, in my opinion, at this point are blue chip. Like we all
is that the threshold for you? Like collections need to kind of maintain 10 ETH and above to be blue chip?
Right now, like I think that we all have kind of the feeling or the sentiment that I would say Pudgy Penguins, Azuki, Bored Apes, barely. And like that's just historically speaking. Then you have Punks, right? And then who else would you throw into that? Like D-Gods had it, they lost it. Oni Force.
Meme land? Captains and Potatoes?
Captains, Potatoes.
Yeah.
But like that, they're not really like I don't see them as a PFP project.
That's fair.
So I don't know. Fair. So like and this is where I think that we're kind of getting into this. We've chatted on this before where we have like ETH L1, ETH mainnet gas fees going through the roof. What's going to happen when incentivization comes to kind of pivot or bridge NFT collections over to Blast, right? I've chatted on this quite a bit with like the incentivization of like farming Blast, right? Like I think we're going to see Blur 2.0 on Blast, and then it's just going to be a whole nother thing. But I don't think that all collections are going to go from ETH mainnet to Blast, rightfully so, right? Like I think that there's people that have like they could lose too much, right? Like I think Pudgy Penguins will stay on ETH. I think Bored Apes will stay on ETH. Like I think those kind of collections will stay over there. But then some of these young cats are going to come over. I don't know.
So Little Pudgies is already it's technically like a multi-chain NFT. Right. So I can see like Azuki, to me, if they're going to go anywhere, I have a feeling they're going to Arbitrum, given anime chain. Like they're going to go to their own chain. But I could see maybe for like secondary collections across the board, it becoming a new norm for those to be following like the Little Pudgy model where you can bridge from chain to chain. I just think like you're going to fragment your holders. You're going to fragment your liquidity. Like
100%. Right. And I don't understand why people would do that. And I think like going multi-chain is a conversation that I don't understand it. Right. Like, just like you said, fragmenting liquidity, that is not a pro for anybody. Right. And like this, you mentioned Azuki going to anime chain. If people want to buy an Azuki have already established themselves as like a top tier collection. If they move to Arbitrum and people wanted to buy an Azuki to A, get the token, B, be part of the garden or whatever, like people will do it because it's Azuki. Just like I think Pudgy Penguin would be the same, right?
Yeah.
Or even Bored Ape. Like, I don't care about buying a Bored Ape and they're on ETH. I just don't care. But like 8 people will buy 8 NFTs. It's just the way it is. So
yeah,
I don't know.
You know what collections have actually been kind of surprising me? There's one in particular. It's like one of the new 404 collections. Have you been like keeping tabs on that?
Slightly, not really.
Like more or less same. Like I watch it because again, I think the token standard is really interesting with like that native fractionalization, but Pandora has the floor price on Pandora has like kind of just gone down, and I think it's stabilized around 4 ETH. But if you look at Asterix, which is the DN 404 standard, like they've pretty much maintained like a 1 ETH floor. Like they pumped earlier this month, and they've just kind of like been more or less stable. And I'm like, this is interesting.
Okay, who is Asterisk? Asterisk.
Vectorize, and I think like the folks that worked on the contract were like OX Quit, Saigar,
Got
and, like,
it.
that whole like I think they refer to themselves as like the Avenger devs.
Right. So there was like ERC 404, and then there was DN 404 that came out right after it, and then wasn't there another one?
No, but there's a new one coming, which is BT 404.
That's the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. That's with Underworld. So this one, I'm interested in this one too, because like this is powered by Floor. Like this is FLC's like first time like in terms of launching a collection. And as you know, the builder who actually made fractionalization like take off within the ETH NFT community, I think like there's definitely something interesting here.
I feel like this is going to be a conversation that we really need to dive into. When is the launch date? 404. Oh shit! So it's going to happen
April 4th. While we're in New York. It's going to
happen when we're in New York. Wow, dude! I think that this is going to be one of the things that we can really dive in on, because I think ERC 404s, and then DN 404s, and DT 404, BT 404s. Jesus Christ, this is like Blur Blast Blend. I hate it, but like I think that's something that people would probably be pretty interested in, and also like hybrid DeFi and all of the use cases that we're going to see that are NFT finance related are probably going to be big unlocks that we haven't really seen before.
Well, and then like imagine BT 404 launches, takes off. And you're talking about like at what point do we see incentivization for these NFT collections to move over somewhere like Blast? Like if we see mainnet NFTs moving over somewhere, someone's going to have to create a wrapper contract. Are they going to create a wrapper contract using the 404 standard to like kind of fit? Because like I think Blast, you say it all the time. It's like it's hyper financialized. And we're already seeing like so many DeFi products on there. And I think it's kind of only natural that we see the main NFTs on Blast have some sort of financialization aspect.
Right.
So like that's something I'm really hyped about. And then if you remember, do you remember the builder spaces we did?
With Wasabi?
Yeah, and Aaron like just casually dropped that bomb of like, yeah, we're looking at like building 404s over on Blast and like incubating some projects.
Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, I think NFT perps are probably going to be one of the biggest winners of Blast. And like, I'm positioning myself that way. Like we're going to touch on it a little bit later, like what we have been farming. But I think NFT perps are one of those things that I'm just like, this just makes sense. And this has been like a long-term thesis. You could go back through my tweets and NFT perps. Like it just makes sense to me, because I think that whether you want $5 of exposure or $50,000 or $500,000. Obviously, we're not there yet in terms of liquidity, but I do think that we get there, right? And it's so much easier and so much more efficient if we can get that down, especially once you start integrating Floor protocol, right? Like if you integrate fractionalization on ETH mainnet, but it's on Blast and you're paying literally less than a cent for gas fees, dude, I think people start churning that out. But nobody wants to do it yet. And like also trading with leverage, like leverage trading on like fungible tokens is, I don't even need to talk to you about it. Like, you do it all the time. So
Tell me more.
I'm just like, leverage trading on NFTs just makes so much sense to me. And I'm just like, why does nobody talk about this? I don't know. I think we're just wicked early to that. And this will be one of the things that gets incentivized hardcore. And like, also something funny is like, Wasabi hasn't mentioned their Blast Gold kind of distribution or anything like that. And I'm just like, I honestly hope that they keep doing that, because I'm like, just keep your mouth shut. Like, that's like my number one farm right now. I'm like,
you gonna do it? I know.
So,
oh God. Oh, what's this? Mintify does. Yeah. I can't wait. I already established that I can't wait. I don't know. That's how tired I am.
Jesus.
It's like,
well, before we get into Blast, I did want to shout out Ordinals real quick. This week they've pretty much trended sideways. I still feel like there's hype there. And kind of like we said with base last week, like, are we early? Are we not early? Are we like earlier than everybody else? And just like, I feel like there have been some outliers. One that I want to show is obviously Bitcoin Puppets, because I'm a puppet holder and I just like it. So
show your bags.
Yeah, thank you. So they ripped up to like 0.33, which is epic. Like, they broke their all-time high. So they were trending up, and now they're retracing here a little bit. I do think that this is one of the projects to pay attention to over there, obviously. But aside from that, like, you can kind of see Runestone had a pretty tough week. Node Monkeys down to 0.54. OMB down sub 0.4. RSIC down sub 0.04. Quantum Cats at 0.25. That's fucking ridiculous. Like, I feel like these are the kind of times where you're just like, I feel like Quantum Cats at 0.25 is going to be one of those things where you look back and you're just like, damn, that was a wicked buy. But other than that, the other thing that I would say, I know I was just shilling Bitcoin Puppets, but I think Runes is going to be another one of those plays that at this point, nobody really understands what Runes are. And I don't know, have you ever tried to buy a fungible token on Bitcoin?
No, I was looking at the Unisats market and I was like,
yeah. Okay. So let me just tell you, Unisat market, and it's not Unisat's fault. Like, I think BRC20s are just pieces of shit. But like, you can't partially fill orders. So like, if you were to go here and press buy, you would have to like connect your wallet and everything like that. But you would have to buy, oh God, no, don't make me do that. But like, you would have to buy all 1505 and 4 cents. Like, you couldn't just buy like $5. You couldn't just buy $50. You have to buy that entire order. This order, same thing. This order, same thing. So if somebody comes in and has like a $28,000 order, that's obviously going to, like, somebody has to fill that, right? Which is like, it's just super inefficient. And I don't think that that's going to be the way that we go for like long-term scaling. Like, that's worked for Ordi. It's worked for a couple other, like Sats was another one. Pups is like currently sitting at like 20 million market cap, which is ridiculous. And I think once they go from pre-runes and BRC20s to runes, this is going to be one of those plays again that you're looking at like, holy shit, like Pup sitting at 20 million market cap just makes sense. And I just think the risk to reward here is like deeply in your favor. And these are the kind of things that I try to pay attention to, right? Like, be early to a narrative. We know that runes is going to be a narrative. So just to kind of give some insight here, like, runes are going to go live after the 840,000th block of Bitcoin. So that's the halvening block. So when that goes live, these marketplaces are going to get launched. When the marketplaces get launched, there's supposed to be fungible tokens that you can trade naturally, like we would see on like ERC20s, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so I think as that happens, we're going to see meme coins get launched on Bitcoin and things like that. And that's just going to be like I think it's just going to be a really easy play if you're early to that.
Well, so. I haven't looked too much into this, but I've noticed that like Bitcoin L2s is also a narrative that's taking off. I'm seeing that a lot more on like the VC side of my timeline. So I think attention is there. I think it was really interesting at the beginning of the year. I was like, I feel like it's going to take us such a long time to really see the impacts of the ETF inflows because people are just adding it to their 401ks, etc. But like the reality is that we saw kind of like an unprecedented move up towards all-time high. And now what? Bitcoin's at like 71,000. And I think, I know it sounds cliche. And again, guys, not financial advice, but like this idea of higher for longer I think it's there. And so I've been saying this. It's like, I think the idea is like Q1, Q2, heavily, heavily farm Blast. I think Blast will always be a core farm for me until like the airdrop stops. But then like I want to cycle profits into Bitcoin. Like I have exposure on ETH. I have exposure on Sol. Like the place that I think is going to have the most reward is Bitcoin. And it's like you said, I would love to have capital there to try to be early to runes and get in there because I think it's going to be an obvious play long run.
So, well, like you said, higher for longer, right? Like I think that this is something that we're going to see. And like, dude, if the way that I look at ordinals and runes in general is just like leveraged exposure to Bitcoin, right? And so like, I don't think Bitcoin is going down. And if it does go down, one BTC is one BTC, just like one ETH is one ETH. Like, I don't care. Like I will hold that as much as I can. Ooh, what is this?
So this is DeFi Llama, and this is just like an overview on the DeFi TVL across all chains. Like, and right now I'm just comparing TVL versus volume. Like we're finally seeing an uptick in volume, but that TVL has like not moved to anywhere near what it was in 2022. Like, so it's like we're here. Almost, right. You know what I mean? And so I was looking at this the other night, and that's when like it really just cemented in my head, like, yeah, higher for longer for sure.
Well, no, dude, it makes sense. And I think getting leverage exposure to the things that you are most bullish on, like I say this all the time to my buddies, is like the end of the cycle for me is punks and squiggles. Easy as that. Like that's just how we end the cycle. And I think that I have a very similar thought process with Q1, Q2, farm the shit out of Blast, rotate into runes, into ordinals, maybe into Solana again, just depending upon how that looks. Like if we're looking at, like this is by far one of my new favorite charts that I check almost every day. Like the inflows into Solana have just been consistent. If you look at the last 30 days, consistent, like head and shoulders above other people. If you look at the last 3 months, I'd be interested to see this again. Like it's just one of those places where I think you can park money. NFTs over there have been absolutely crushed. So I think that that's another place that you can probably safely park your money in terms of getting leverage exposure to Solana. Right? Just like ordinals, you could get leverage exposure to Bitcoin, and just like punks and squiggles are leverage exposure, in my opinion, to ETH, right? Like I think ETH NFTs will have a bounce back season at some point. I don't see it happening soon. I just don't, like, unless they bridge to Blast or something like that. Like I just don't see like a catalyst that really excites me. And going deeper into the bull market, people are not going to pay $400, $500, $600 to fucking do an ETH NFT. I just don't think it happens.
No, but they will pay $400 to $500 to $600 to push through a transaction on Uniswap. Because I did this last cycle.
But dude, don't you think we've gotten past that? Like, don't you think that like, dude, like Solana's going to be the home of shitcoining. Even Base, like Base is another one, and Blast. So you have Base, Blast, and Solana, and then you're going to have fucking Bitcoin meme coins. Like, bro, Bitcoin meme coins. Like, those are like two buzzwords for fucking normies. Like, especially if they have a good marketplace. And right now, for the people that are wondering, the only two like rune marketplaces that I know of are Ord.io and LFG. There might be more. If there are more, put it in the comments. But if people start flipping fucking Bitcoin meme coins, dude, think of like, that gets me so excited.
Look, like I do very, very minimum transactions on ETH mainnet right now. Like I haven't really done, if I'm doing anything, I'm either wrapping ETH to staked ETH or wrap staked ETH or unwrapping that shit.
Or
and then I'm
bridging.
Yeah. And then I'm bridging out, either mostly been bridging to Blast, and then obviously starting to like bridge a little bit more over to Base. But, you know, you have to remember, like, we've been in this space for years, Dalton. Like, we kind of know where to go, but I'm thinking people who are coming in for the first time, like, I could see, like, would be awesome if their first, like, DeFi exposure was to something like Base. But also, like, I could see it being something like Ethereum, because you have a lot of, like, very bullish Ethereum maxis out there that are going to be like, buy this, you know, supply liquidity on this DeFi platform, supply on Aave.
I just don't think it happens. I just can't see it happening. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have too much faith in the normies, but
I think you have too much faith in the normies. Dude, degens on, like, crypto Twitter don't read. And he, like,
okay, well, today is a big day because Jen minted her second ordinal, her first real ordinal.
Well, this is the first one I minted, because burials. Did I mint that?
I think you did. Maybe
I think I bought it on secondary. Cool. So,
well, congrats. How did it go?
It went well. I was 5 minutes late to the start time, and it was really nerve-wracking just watching the transaction pending. I was like, oh my God, is this what people do? And then
horrible.
My friend Duke, who came over to, like, hang out and, like, grab lunch, and he's like, yeah, I pushed through my transaction before I got out in the car to come over here. I have no idea if it went through. He gets here, opens up his laptop, and he's like, it's still pending. And I'm like, how is it still pending? Like, I think I put mine in, like, around the same time as you, and it finished in 6 minutes, longest 6 minutes of my life. But yeah, does that experience get better? Like, is there any way to fix that?
So I'm just gonna walk people through this real quick. So this right here is the mempool.
Switch your tab.
Hold up. I'm not there yet. There we go. Okay, so this right here is the mempool. So these are blocks. Okay, so this is the next block, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 51 minutes. Okay, these are the blocks that just passed. So when you push to a transaction, you're going to be paying like 9 Satoshis, right? Like that's not going to work. Like people are going to bid in front of you. So then like people front run you, and then you get pushed back, and then you get pushed back again, and then you get pushed back again, because people keep front running you. So basically when you push through a transaction, you have to make sure that you're paying like here, like 9, if you push through like 12 Satoshis, you'd be completely fine, which is, dude, the difference of like, it's minimal, right? But like, if you look up here, this is 10 Satoshis, 12 Satoshis, 9 Satoshis. So like if you did 12 Satoshis for a bid, like our priority fee or whatever, you'd be completely fine. Now, if you fucked up and you already pushed through the transaction, you can't go back and fix it. Here is a tool. It's called CPFP. I think it stands for child pays for parent. So it's like the second transaction pays for the first transaction, and it's a transaction speed up. Now, this site right here has saved me so many freaking times, but it literally looks like Windows like 1992. And the first time somebody sent it to me, I was like, they're definitely hacking my shit. They are definitely hacking my shit. But I use it literally every time I push through a transaction now.
So like, okay, this is actually really interesting because Ink has the last round of mints here in like little less than 2 hours. And right now you're only able to like mint on Magic Eden. So like you pull up Magic Eden and you'll see a button that says mint. So you're saying I could hit that, take my transaction hash, go to that site that you just showed me, stick it in there and speed it up?
People are going to like front run the fuck out of you. So like they will get their bids filled before you. But yeah, like if you got your bid in, then it would be fine. So this is the launch pad right now. Oh, dude. So there's actually 800 left.
Yeah.
No way.
Do 800 slots front run me? I feel like this is going to be like a crazy grab to try to get.
Okay, wait a second.
So basically, yeah,
for dude, everybody watching right now, you did not see that.
This is some alpha.
Yeah. So like that's actually what I'm gonna do right now.
Are you eligible? I can't see.
Well, first come, first serve. No, I'm not. Wow.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna need you to send me that link afterwards.
If you
Come on.
say please.
Please, sir.
Dope. Well, cool. We'll figure that out. We got 15 minutes here, and I'm gonna have
Okay.
to send over some Bitcoin.
Okay.
Cool. I didn't realize that there was that many left in the public sale.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting. Cool.
Okay. Moving over to Blast. Quick highlights. SSS, which I think is Super Samurai Sushi. When I was trying to record my fucking video, do you know how many times I fucked up saying that? I was just like, huh? And I was like, this is so hard. TLDR there, about a week ago, there was a white hat hack. And we just saw the token absolutely tank. Looked like the dev rugged, but the team was actually able to recover all the funds and they've restored the project. So I think there's some recovery there. And then obviously the big one that caught everyone's attention and that kind of just like kept everyone glued to the timeline was Munchables. High level, basically to mint a Munchable, you had to lock ETH or USDB. And for every 1 ETH or equivalent that you locked into this lock drop contract, gave you 1 free Munchable mint. And so this actually opened on February 27th. And people had been depositing, but then all of a sudden, like everyone is rushing over to Blast because the first Blast Gold distribution happened. Munchables was a big bang winner and they had a pretty sizable allocation. So we just saw people ape in that contract. TVL grew like literally 25 million, 45 million, 80 million, 97 million day after day. Long story here, the dev was outsourced. It's speculated that he was from North Korea and that the contract was actually malicious from like deployment. There was like code in there that it was like, hey, I as the dev could say that my balance is 1 million ETH, and so I'll be able to withdraw 1 million ETH from the contracts. So that was wild. We saw $62.5 million get drained. We saw all bridges on and off of Blast get halted, and then insane heated debates on the timeline. But then basically late in the evening, Pac-Man's like, yeah, we've secured all the funds. We're not rolling back the blockchain and we're going to coordinate, the distribution of this. So
dude, that was insanity.
Yeah. Like so I'm actually curious about your opinion because, I'm sure you saw it, but all over my timeline was like CT arguing whether or not Pac-Man should have rolled back the chain and like concepts of decentralization versus like user security. I don't fucking know, but what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I think I think we live in a bubble and I think we like to think that everything is decentralized. And this is something that we've seen multiple times, right? We've seen massive hacks before, and if it is completely decentralized, like you're fucked. Now, because Blast was relatively new and still is relatively new, it's only been a month old. Like these things are going to happen. Now, I think the deeper question here is why the fuck do these keep happening? And why is this going to be a systemic problem? The reason why so many projects are having this issue, A, they couldn't find auditors. B, they were rushed because and this is what I've heard from teams. They're like, dude, we had a hard time finding auditors.
What?
I've heard it from 3 teams now. And they're like,
legitimate teams?
I swear. I'm not going to put them on air, but yes.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
how do you have a hard time finding an auditor?
Bro, dude, we have a brand new ecosystem that is incentivized to fuck again to push things out super quick. And how long did they have? How long did they have to make all this stuff? A couple months?
Well, you have to remember, Blast is EVM. So
true.
But Wasabi, for example, they're on ETH mainnet. They literally use the exact same contracts on ETH mainnet on Blast.
But Wasabi is an ETH project. We're talking new projects. And now, not only that, Pac-Man's coming out and saying like, yeah, actually, if you have projects on other chains, go fuck yourself. So now you're putting people in this position where they're like, okay, cool. Like now we have to be like, and we can touch on multipliers, but like, I think the systemic issue here was that we put a timeline on people that are incentivized now to push out product before they're ready because they want Blast Gold. One of the projects that I'm actually really proud of is Fantasy, right? Fantasy was a winner of the Big Bang, and they have so much usage. They have like 10,000 people using their platform every day. Now, they're on testnet. They haven't gone live. They aren't trying to get a bunch of TV out, and they could. Like, dude, I would put my funds over there, but they aren't ready. And so this is something that I think we're going to continue to see.
But I don't think you can blame that on the incentives. Like,
bro, if you have $1 billion that's going to get unlocked, what are these people going to do? They're like, yeah, no, fuck it. Like, we'll risk it.
But I just feel like you don't bet on teams like that. You know what I mean?
Of course not. Look. So when you go about your due diligence, and you're looking at how many people are shilling something. Now, look at CBB. CBB was on the Munchables team, or that had at least like given to the seed round. There was like 5 or 6 people that I trust not to be shilling a piece of shit.
Fair.
Right? And we never saw that coming. SSS, another one that just like, and I was just like, what the fuck? Crypto Valleys. If this happened to Crypto Valleys, how many people would be screwed? So many people. And it's because somebody shilled something to somebody and it's like, this is the CT game. And we're all trying to play the exact same game on a playing field that has fucking potholes all over the place because they were incentivized to produce this product, go live as fast as we can. But it's just what we're seeing. Because if they're in testnet, they're not getting Blast Gold.
Right. But it's not like the only airdrop that's happening on Blast is in May. I think like you calling out Fantasy is like a really good call out. Like I've enjoyed continuing to use Fantasy testnet today, even while I'm still on mainnet. I think the problem is I don't buy the excuse that it's like we can't find an auditor. Like there are so many reputable auditors in this space that have either audited like ApeCoin contracts, like Blur contracts, Blast contracts. And to find these, you just go to their docs. You can literally go and see who the hell audited Blur. Let me get in touch. I think the real constraint is getting good auditors, having active bug bounty programs is expensive. And so for these teams that are bootstrapping, I understand that that could be harder. It could be really cool to see maybe some ecosystem support from Blast come up to kind of like prop up the security side of things. But I'm honestly glad I was in the desert around the Munchables craze, because I think if you're spot on, if I would have saw it, and especially seeing the names that were posting about it, like Dingling, CBB, and so many others, I definitely probably would have tried to throw something, like something in there. And so like that was a bullet dodged, but I also think that for anyone that's paying attention, this is like a huge wake up call on like, we really should be doing our due diligence. We really should be checking to make sure contracts are audited and audited by who. And like, I think there are things that we as users can better do to protect ourselves. And I think there's definitely more that Blast can do to support builders by like providing some security support. But I don't necessarily agree that like how incentivized Blast is the thing that's causing all of these builders to rush and ship shitty projects.
I don't know. I disagree with you there, but I do see quality projects like hanging back. That being said, like I also see people seeing the opportunity, and this is where scammers come in. And I'm not saying that these are quality projects. All they have to do is fool one person. If they fool one person, then this person's like, oh, okay, cool, I'll go in.
Yeah.
Right. And now this is something that I see like working for the company that I work for. When you go into rounds right now, if you go to influencers and say 1 month lock and then the tokens are yours, dude, they'll sign it. Because like right now, how many times have teams approached you and said like 6 month, 12-month lock? I'm like, 12-month lock, bro. I don't even know if we're going to be here in 2025. So then I'm just like, maybe, I don't know. But then if a team comes up and says 1 month lock, then I'd be like, pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
And then it fills, especially if it says base or blast on it. And that's just the case like that. And this is where I think you and I are very passionate about sharing this information. And we're privy to conversations that people watching this aren't necessarily privy to those conversations. And that's where I think you and I need to do a really good job of doing the due diligence, which I think we do. And like saying no to quick money to trust teams that are actually building something legit. And that's why I call out Fantasy, right? I'm like super proud of that team. If we're talking about other farms that I'm farming right now, I'm farming NFT Perp, I'm farming Wasabi, MetaStreet, LCT. Like that's one that I need to get access to or get exposure to. Like those are teams that I trust. And like we've known them from the ETH NFT space in the NFT like ecosystem. I think Blastopians is like a reputable team with ESK and Creed Alpha and stuff like that. But outside of that, I think Blast Snipers is the only one that I really, at this point, know and would rep, or at least feel decent repping. And I don't know that team very, very well. But outside of that, I'm just kind of staying back and trying to do my due diligence, right? And then also in GameFi, I think District 1 doing like this Frentech style thing. Again, haven't talked to the team. I think it's interesting. I'm not putting more money over there than I'd be willing to lose because I just don't know. But like,
hold on, look who it is.
Yeah, there we go, bro. See, look, that's what I'm saying.
Let's fucking go.
But like, this is the type of founder that I want to be around. This is the kind of founder that I would bet on. Somebody that's paying attention to the space, somebody that's not incentivized to do like, they're not giving into the incentivization bullshit. So definitely here for it. Travis, keep doing your thing, brother. I'm total fan. So
we love fantasy. If you can't tell.
Yeah, I shill it every day. I got 1 million fan points, baby.
It's funny. It's like we're kind of split. Like I'm top of the leaderboard for Pac Moon, and then you're top of the leaderboard for fantasy.
I know. I just got 30 more ref links. I'm like, Travis, up those numbers, baby. I'm coming for more.
Oh my god, I fucking love it. Yeah. So I think you're spot on. Look, I think one of the things that will be really interesting, especially when we're in New York, is you guys are going to get to kind of see how we talk to founders, how we talk to projects, how we get to dig in. But I think key things to look for, in case you're curious, it's like, 1, are the contracts audited? Like, I cannot stress this enough. And if it's a smaller team, I think 1 audit is generally acceptable. But if it's a contract that has a large amount of TVL or a platform that's going to somehow garner a large amount of TVL, whether that's perps, they have vaults, etc., there should be multiple auditors on that shit.
Right.
You need to also keep an eye out on whether or not projects have active bounty programs. We want to see founders who are proactive about their security. And then, there's obviously stuff around contract verification, whether the contracts are immutable or not, or whether the contracts are upgradable, and if they're upgradable by proxy. As someone who was at a platform that experienced an exploit, like, there are going to be times where we may see hacks and things happen, even if a team and protocol has like all of these T's crossed and I's dotted. It just happens. Like, this space is the Wild West. So I think that's just something to keep in mind, but at least cover your baseline minimum. And if you want, not to shield my own content, but I did go through and basically summarized and recompiled and talked to a lot of the teams that I have capital on and summarized like some of these main security points. So like, check that out. And I think, Dalton, if we are making breakdown videos about projects, making threads about projects, that's just info we can start making sure we include,
Right. No, I 100% agree. I think that this is, and like you can take as much risk as you want, but at the end, like, you can do as much due diligence as you want as well, right? Like, I think that this is one of the things that like Jen said, like, you could do everything right and you can still get fucked.
Yeah.
And that's just the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the space. But that being said, like, I think that doing due diligence, you can sleep a little bit easier. But
like, look, I know the whole idea of crypto and Web3 is obviously decentralization and permissionless finance. And this idea of like trustless contracts where you're not having to trust anyone and you can just like trust the smart contract code. But the reality is we are in a space where we still have to trust the developers and the teams behind these projects and protocols. And, you know, if they're not giving you as a community member, as a user, time of day, whether that's through like community AMAs, constantly having updates, constantly having comms, that's a red flag to me. Like, I like teams that are proactive. So yeah. I know we're almost out of time, but I did want to share one screen. So obviously with the Munchables hack, we saw mass panic until they halted the bridges. People are bridging off of Blast. Like, you can kind of see that here, like the TVL drops like a tiny bit. But I don't know if you see this. Do you notice like the uptick in new wallets that are coming and the uptick?
Shut up.
What are you?
Shh. This is alpha. I'm over here in my farmer era, and Jen's like, everybody, the wallets are coming. I'm like, God fucking damn it.
Just like, okay, well, so that concludes today's episode of Remit. But
it is crazy to see, and like, dude, you see it all over the timeline, right? Like, it is all over the timeline.
I honestly think how the Munchables hack or exploit was handled was just bullish. Like, I think any participant on any other chain watching that, like, you don't have to like Blast, but you have to respect it. I did see like quite a few folks say like, I'm bridging more over.
Yeah.
So
no, I definitely agree. Do we want to do a rapid fire on, actually, you know what? Do we talk about District 1?
Not yet.
No?
No.
Quick little, this is one of the other ones that I'm paying attention to. I think it's pretty interesting seeing some of these share prices. I'm still learning my day-to-day. Let's like right here, $245 for a Creed Alpha. Like, that sounds like a buy to me, especially because top spaces are going for like 1,500. It's kind of all over the place. Like, this is like pretty intimidating. That being said, it's definitely something I'm going to be paying attention to. And I'm pretty excited for Remit Reality to get involved.
That's some alpha. You're yelling at me. You shut up, Dalton. You shut up. No, I'm super stoked that you're digging into District 1. Like, it's not that I don't like the platform. I definitely love the idea of the platform. But you know how you told me you went on to YOLO Games and you were playing and your anxiety just went through the roof. When I look at District 1, that's exactly what happens.
Bro, it is so loud. The UI is like fucking insane. I'm like, guys,
it's too much.
I don't know if you guys are like trying to get Zoomers in here and like just trying to keep them entertained or something, but like, I'm 29 and I'm like, this is a lot. I
feel like I need to be on like Adderall and like have a fuck ton of soda and like coffee and caffeine energy drinks to be on there and like keep
100%. 100%.
But yeah, keep an eye out. So I think, just a heads up, everyone, next week we'll probably be skipping the podcast because we have a couple of IRL podcasts that we're going to be filming in New York. I'm trying to figure out what I want to say. And I think what I want to say is, Dalton, one, I am so glad that we connected and that we just clicked and we knew that it's like, dude, we can do this together. It's been so nice having what feels like a team and someone that I can like talk to every single day, because I think it's going to be a really big week for us next week. So
yeah, got some special guests. That's it.
Yeah, we do. All righty, guys. Well, you know how it goes. We won't catch you next week, but we'll catch you the week after. As always, all 443 of you, thanks for tuning in.
Ciao, guys.
Bye.